Are you a half empty or half full type of person? Well, I'll tell you, 41% of all Americans think that the housing market is going to crash in 2023. Now, of those, 73% think that the crash will actually be worse than what we saw in 2008. This is all in accordance to a recent survey done by LendingTree. Now, the question stands, what do you think is going to happen? I have a few ideas of my own and I'm about to share them with you, so stay tuned. Hello, this is Rosa Karp with the Karp Realty Group, where we help people build wealth through real estate. Today we're going to be talking about some of the factors that we see playing out and how they may shape 2023 when it comes to the housing market. Now, to talk about 2023, we have to take into consideration the last few years and what has been happening. Prior to COVID hitting us, we had been blessed with almost nearly a decade worth of equity in our homes. Home prices surely had been going up. When the COVID bug hit, we surely thought this was definitely going to be the catalyst that would affect home prices, and everybody was grasping and waiting to see if this would be a 2008 scenario where home prices would come down again. Well, we saw the opposite happen. As more people spent time at home, as more people began to see how valuable it is to have home ownership on their side when it comes to building equity, to be able to have a level of control as to how much you're paying on your mortgage payment versus this whole catapult of inflation we have been seeing come about and how much rents have gone up. All of these factors ended up coming into increasing the demand for buyers to want a home. Now, that brought us into a huge wreckage when it came to the housing market, and we saw a huge amount of demand in the last 2 years. Well, here we are, and in 2022, a lot of those things changed. What we saw is that interest rates were the major factor. Interest rates nearly doubled in less than a year. And with that happening, it surely affected affordability. With affordability becoming an issue or just something that more people are thinking about, more people began to hold off a little bit longer to see if they would come down. Well, what this did is that in the last 6 months, we saw about a 10% decrease in the home prices here in San Diego. So with a decrease of nearly 10% in the home prices, with nearly a doubling in interest rates in less than a year, and even with the lurking and talk of a nearby recession in play, many are thinking that this might be what actually causes the next real estate crash. Now, the question is, what are your thoughts? I would be curious to know, and I would want to know the reasons why. If you could and would be so kind, please comment below and let us know what your thoughts are on what the 2023 housing market will look like. Now, here are my thoughts. When it comes to 2023, we must consider this. Even though we had a decrease in the last 6 months when it comes to housing prices, when you compare year to year, we actually had a 9.5% increase in housing values. So it's really important to consider factors, not just the short term, but actually a year to year comparison will give you a better picture of what is truly happening. Now, the other factor to consider is that of inventory. Now, as you know, that is definitely a driving factor for home prices in San Diego. As of now, our inventory sits at about 1.6 months worth of inventory. So to put this in perspective, we would need nearly 6 months worth to turn this around and make it into a buyer's market. So we're still far from making this into a buyer's market, and there doesn't seem to be too many signs of a complete turnaround. We do have a few new construction projects in the works, but not enough to cause that to turn around. So again, when it comes to inventories, that's definitely going to be a driving factor in San Diego. So this is the quick summary why I don't think that 2023 housing market is just about to give up and turn into a 2008 market. The 3 basic and simple points are this. Number 1, inventory is still relatively low. To cause for chaos like we saw back in 2008, where there was an overflow of homes sitting in the market for months at a time, literally, for them to be able to sell. Now, the other factor, which brings me to this point, is that there is simply more demand than there is supply. I mean, the truth of it is that there is a lot of people sitting on equity when it comes to their home. A lot of people bought in a good time, and they have more equity to gain than they did back in 2008, when more people were upside down on their home. Also, a lot of people did capture good interest rates. So there's not a lot of people that are having to truly have to sell unless they want to move out of state or there's a big life change. So those are, again, impeding for a lot of supply to just naturally flow into our marketplace like they would otherwise. This brings me to my third point, which is also very important, because I still continue to have conversations with people who tell me, hey Rosa, can you find me foreclosure deals? Absolutely. There are always deals to be found, but this is the truth. Back in 2022, there were only about 17 foreclosed deals that came through on the MLS. Now, to put this in perspective again, prior to pre-COVID times, there were more than 40 deals that were coming about. And again, to put it into perspective, when you compare this to the 2012, big recession that we're coming out of, I mean, we were talking about over 1,500 homes that were being foreclosed on. So again, to look at the gravity of the numbers, we are far from the unhealthy housing market that we were in back then. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, and this is why. Now, remember I asked you whether you were a half empty or half full type of person? Well, 2 out of 3 economists are forecasting that in 2023, we will be facing a recession. Now, what does this mean? It all comes down to how you view things. Now, a recession is not something for you to be afraid of. In fact, in the last 6 recessions we have seen, we have noticed that interest rates have actually come down. So if you have been praying for and hoping for and crying out for interest rates to come down so that you could once again have an opportunity for home ownership and get out of this crazy rental market we have been in, this might be your opportunity. Yes, indeed. We have seen that back in 1918, 81, even as recent as 2020, in the last recessions, as have faced recessions, mortgage rates have actually lowered. We have already began to witness the most recent weeks mortgage rates beginning to come down. Now, this is an interesting fact, because as mortgage rates come down, what will end up happening is naturally demand will go up. More buyers, such as yourself, probably will want to go back out into the market and start looking for that home again. So again, it'll be a very interesting year to see how this will play out. Most recently, the chief economist from Moody's Analytics said that he believes this market is definitely in transition. I would definitely agree with that statement and believe it to be true. Now, the question is, where will you be in the midst of this transition? So if you have been considering making a move this year, give us a call today. We love to talk real estate. We love to help people better position themselves, whether it be that you're buying your first home, whether it be that you're looking to downsize, upgrade, move states, whatever that may be. Make sure you get in contact with us today. We love to help people build wealth through real estate. That is our passion, and we would love to hear from you. For more real estate news, make sure you subscribe and like our channel, or go to our website for more information. Until next time, this is Rosa Karp with the Karp Realty Group. For more real estate news or tips, please follow us on YouTube or any of our social media channels. This is Rosa Karp with the Karp Realty Group, where we help you build wealth through real estate.